A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another graphic novel review today, so cheers. Now, today I am really excited about this one because this is a book that I've been looking for a little while now. One that I kind of read about, sounded really interesting to me, was trying to purchase it online, couldn't kind of find it anywhere. And then a couple of weeks ago, around the start of my vacation, I made a trip into Seoul to visit my good friend Joey's board game and comic book cafe, DCC, which is located in Seoul. Absolutely fantastic place. If you're in the area, you want to play some board games, role-playing games, you want to buy some comic books, get some delicious burgers, have a couple of beers, meet some folks. It's the place to freaking be, in my opinion. I'll leave a link down below to information on where you can find it and where you can go. And I was perusing his graphic novels and finally found a copy of Wonder Woman Dead Earth. Now, you can tell by the cover that this is going to be something special. This is an absolutely phenomenal story. The art, in my opinion, is absolutely perfect for the kind of apocalyptic story that it is trying to tell. There are twists and turns and surprises, and it never really goes where you think it's going to go. And this was one graphic novel that I actually read in one setting, one setting. I was in the office, but usually I will sit down, read a couple of issues, go off and do something, come back, read a couple of issues. Could not put this thing down. It was phenomenal. So, first of all, big thanks to Joey, finally getting my hands on this. Thanks to you, buddy. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review, although I am going to gloss over and I'm not going to go into a lot of details with the dialogue and things like that. The dialogue is very well written. The story is perfectly paced. It's one of those graphic novels where you could just see this being a television show or a DC animated movie, which I really hope that they do. I think it would be freaking phenomenal. So, with that said, let's get into the story of Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
So, before I get into the story itself, I've actually had a couple of messages about this section of the table here and what it is. Is it a stain or something? No, this is a glass tabletop, and that is actually a reflection of the sprinkler system in my home. So that's all that is. You don't have to worry. The table is nice and clean. Now, let's talk about this cover here. Before we go any further, we have Wonder Woman with a sword. She's got her kind of Wonder Woman togs, but they're a bit damaged, and Batman's utility belt, and what appears to be kind of like a wolf cape or a wolf cloak. I love this cover so freaking much. If we flip it over, we get this kind of picture here with Diana here and what appears to be a scorched earth kind of a setting. So let's jump straight in. Let me just get that all on camera. Okay. Wonder Woman Dead Earth. Story and art by Daniel Warren Johnson. Color by Mike Spicer. Ross Wooten did the lettering. Covers by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. So, we are in for something really special here. We have Wonder Woman standing over these monsters, whatever they are. We don't really know at this point. Oh my God, that beer is refreshing. So it opens with a young Diana talking with her mother, Hippolyta, and her mother is basically explaining to her how she was created from clay. Those of you that are not familiar with Wonder Woman mythology, Wonder Woman lore, there have been a ton of retcons on how Wonder Woman was born. One of them was that she was molded from clay. So that's kind of what this is hinting at here. We see a plane crash. This, of course, is in reference to Stephen Trevor, the first man that Diana meets after his plane crashes on Themyscira. If you've seen the Wonder Woman movie, which I really enjoyed, by the way, the second Wonder Woman film, not so much, but it did have a great villain in it, so there you go. Bombs going off. And then we get to the crux of the story. We have these scouts kind of on a mission here when they get ambushed by a Hydra. Nice reference to the monsters of Greek mythology. And they run and find this cave. One of them, the leader, kind of attacks the Hydra, tells the others, who are really just children, to jump into the cave. At the same time, he gets his face kind of slashed by this creature. They jump down into the cave, followed by the creature, and they land on top of this kind of pod thing with glass here. The creature lands next to them and is preparing to attack when Diana comes out of this pod and basically bashes the crap out of this thing. It bites her arm. She realizes she doesn't have the strength that she once had, but she still manages to kill it anyway, even after this one guy creates a diversion and gets his guts opened in the process. Now you can see that this already is going to be a very bloody and violent story, which, hey, that's all right by me. They discover that they've actually fallen into the Batcave. We can see the giant T-Rex there, Two-Face's coin, a Batmobile. They trudge up the stairs and Diana finds the body of Bruce Wayne sitting on the sofa, and she has no idea what's going on. And that's when we get this beautiful splash page of her kneeling before this post-apocalyptic landscape with a dead, cadaverous Batman just sitting on the sofa. And she has no idea what is going on. She talks to the people that kind of found her, these survivors, and they tell her a story of these great fires that spread across the world and basically destroyed everything. And she asks to go with them, but before she does, she goes back into the mansion, Wayne Manor. She goes and finds Bruce's stash of objects. There's her old uniform. She grabs some swords. She grabs Bruce's utility belt, some other things, and decides to join with these survivors as they trek back to their haven, Camp New Hope. Just before they get there, however, they drug her and take her before the leader, this guy called Thaden. And Théoden basically has her imprisoned after she sees him mistreating one of the guys and tries to basically fight him after she wakes up out of the stupor that she's in. Back on Themyscira, this is kind of a flashback to her childhood. Her mother is telling her that the gods basically betrayed her, and she doesn't want Diana to go through anything like that. That's why Diana cannot be trustful of mankind. In the cell, Diana's talking to this guy, D, and D basically wants to know why she is there, and she tells him that she loves him in as much as what she's saying is humanity. She loves humanity, but she has been sentenced to the pit. The pit is kind of like a gladiatorial thing. She is thrown in there and she is confronted with Barbara Minerva, otherwise known as Cheetah. Now, Cheetah, who was a villain in Wonder Woman 2, played by Kristen Wiig, I thought played very well by Kristen Wiig. I thought Cheetah was one of the better aspects of that film. She is a villain that is one of Wonder Woman's kind of more well-known villains, but by the same token, she's very underappreciated in the comic books, in movies, in animation, and things like that. I really love her backstory. I really love the character itself. I think she is absolutely fascinating. And what they've done here, you can see that she has been mutated. So she's got like an arm that has a cheetah head on it. And her and Wonder Woman get into a fight in the pit. So the people manning the battlements of Camp New Hope kind of see some Hydra approaching. Dee goes back and sees his sister, and they kind of have a reunion, but then the alarm has been sounded because of all the Hydra that are attacking, so he kind of has to go. In the meantime, Cheetah is beating the shit out of Wonder Woman, but it's primarily because Wonder Woman is trying not to fight her. And Cheetah is kind of letting Wonder Woman know what they did to her. So the leader of Camp New Hope actually mutated her into the form that she is in today, which is pretty fucked up. So the soldiers all amass and charge towards the army of Hydra as they infiltrate and get into the pit and just start kind of massacring everyone. But Diana comes to the rescue and starts fighting for them, slaughtering Hydra after Hydra, and managing to save Dee. The people of Camp New Hope realize that she is there to help, and they are kind of chanting her on. In the meantime, the leader, Théoden, is fleeing from Cheetah because Cheetah wants her revenge for what he did to her. Diane stops her, and she's like, "You don't know what he did to me." And then she kind of breaks down while everyone is chanting Diana's name. Cheetah flees, and Diana wants to lead this camp and wants to take everyone to Themyscira. She believes that there will be a safe haven for everybody. We get another flashback. Diana is fighting this Amazonian Nubia, who is basically training her in combat techniques. Diana is losing until she smashes the ground to knock Nubia off her feet, but she's so powerful it causes part of the cliff to fall into the ocean. Nubia manages to grab Diana, but realizes that her power is really great. Nubia goes to see the Queen, and the Queen explains that after the gods came down to Themyscira and had this big freaking drunken orgy party thing, she went around and stole a little bit of all their blood and used that in the clay to make Diana, which is why she is so extremely powerful. And her power needs to be reined in. She doesn't quite understand how to use it properly. And then we see Diana with Pegasus here. Back in the Camp New Hope, Wonder Woman goes to see Thaden and wants him to help, but he's kind of against it at the beginning, but then tells her, listen, there's a grain silo just outside of town that's got some things in it that you might be able to use. So he's kind of turning around on this idea. Walking through Camp New Hope, one of the scouts calls her into this place and reveals that she mentioned Themyscira was an island, so this guy has built a boat which might be helpful getting everyone to Themyscira. This guy has also deconstructed Batman's utility belt. While he doesn't understand everything that's in there, he kind of lets her know what exactly there is and how that can be helpful. They leave Camp New Hope, trudging through the snow. Thaden, of course, has gone with them. They are heading towards Themyscira. They make camp, and then we get another flashback scene of Nubia coming to a young Diana and telling her, listen, your power is too great, but these gauntlets will kind of help you to rein it in so you don't lose control. I thought this was a really cool idea. We all know that Wonder Woman's gauntlets are the ones that kind of stop bullets. If you've ever seen the old Wonder Woman TV show, even the movie, or any of the DC animated universe films that have Wonder Woman in it, you'll know what the gauntlets are, but the fact that they're keeping her power in check, I thought was really, really cool. At the camp, the largest Hydra they have ever seen bursts out of the ground, and they make a plan of attack, which Diana leads. She has archers and things like that, but this thing is just too big, and it kills a lot of people, but Diana is like, okay, hold on a second. She gets into a Jeep. She rides the Jeep up onto this ridge and drives the Jeep off the cliff. Now, my initial thought reading this was she's going to drive this thing into its mouth and it's going to explode, but I was wrong. She jumps out of it with her sword and a can of gasoline, and she stabs it to hold on to the sword hanging off the creature's head, throws all the gasoline into the creature's mouth, and then just sets it on fire, blowing the back of the creature's head out, thus defeating it. Everyone's like, what the fuck? And they kind of celebrate, but too many people have been killed. Another quick flashback where the Queen has gone to see Diana as a child, like sleeping after she's got the gauntlets on. Not a child, I should say. She's more like a teenager here. And then they notice that the ocean is in fact rising and is going to kind of overwhelm Themyscira. They get to a lighthouse on the edge of the landscape, and Diana takes a few people in the boat, leaving the rest of them at the lighthouse itself in order to travel to Themyscira and make sure everything is okay, that she can actually bring these refugees there, because those of you that don't know, the Amazons are very kind of protective of the island of Themyscira, but when she gets there, Themyscira has been completely destroyed. They get off the boat, they walk up into like the remains of the palace, where Diana sees Nubia, who points her to a pit. She leaves the others there and goes down into the pit by herself, where she is greeted by her mother. Her mother is still alive, however, her mother has been transformed into a Hydra. Plot twist. Wonder Woman wants to know exactly what happened, and so the Queen lets her know that mankind fired nuclear missiles against Themyscira, and that ultimately resulted in the radiation transforming all of the Amazonians into these Hydra creatures, which means Wonder Woman has actually been killing her own sisters. Dee comes down, sees that the mother is touching Diana, cuts her hands off. Nubia chases them down in there, attacking them, and they manage to escape. However, a lot of them are killed in the process, the ones that have come with her, until Cheetah comes flying on Pegasus. How she got Pegasus, I don't fucking know. I don't care. That is an awesome splash page. That is one of the best pieces of art I have seen in a graphic novel like this in a long time, and I would love to have that on my fucking wall. I think that would be amazing. So Cheetah drops down. They attack Nubia. Nubia kind of fights back. And ultimately, Wonder Woman, Dee, and Cheetah escape on Pegasus. They land away from Themyscira, where Wonder Woman basically tells the kid, listen, I trusted mankind and they betrayed me, so I'm leaving you on your own. Forget this shit. We're done. And he can't understand kind of why. And they just leave him there alone. Her and Cheetah fly off on Pegasus. Okay. So, Wonder Woman and Cheetah are talking, and they're trying to, well, Wonder Woman's trying to work out exactly what happened. And it turns out that Wonder Woman was part of an emissary group that was trying to make peace between mankind and the Amazonians. It didn't go well, and it resulted in a war between the Amazonians and mankind, a war that the Amazonians were in fact winning. And that caused the humans to fire nuclear missiles at Themyscira. And that is why Themyscira was kind of taken out. They have a bit of a heart-to-heart as to why Cheetah came back, and Cheetah is like, I saw it in your eyes, you're like me, blah, blah, blah. The Queen calls Nubia and all of the largest Hydra, and they are going to wipe out the humans that Diana was protecting. Dee goes back to the refugees from Camp New Hope and explains exactly what happened. But he also, in his exploration of Themyscira, found a whip, the Lasso of Truth, which he puts around Théoden's arm and wants him to explain, why are you helping us now? And we learn that Théoden is actually a good person. He sees that the refugees need help. His ways were wrong in the past, and he kind of wants to atone for that, which I thought was kind of cool. And Dee decides that he's going to go and track down Wonder Woman. I believe there is a tracking device in the utility belt, and Wonder Woman and Cheetah fly to Superman's Fortress of Solitude, because if there's anyone that has survived this whole thing, it's going to be Superman. And she wants to know why Superman let this happen, why he didn't do anything to stop it. We have a pile of bones here. Save us. They get to the Fortress of Solitude, and it is opened by this robotic, this cyborg Superman that she initially mistakes for Clark, but it's not him. He leads her into the fortress to take her to Clark, and that's where we see Superman on the throne in the Fortress of Solitude, dead with a giant hole in his chest. Fucking awesome. This panel alone is brilliant. Just brilliant. We find out that Superman was trying to stop the war between the humans and the Amazonians, and he had no idea that the humans were going to release the nuclear missiles on Themyscira. He busts through into the kind of Pentagon, I guess, and explains, like, what have you done? Diana goes back to Themyscira to try and stop the missiles, but there were just far too many of them. And while she does get some, the rest of them kind of detonate. Now, she, having all the blood of all the gods, is technically immortal. That is why she is not affected by this. Superman comes and basically tells her, listen, the missiles weren't just set for Themyscira, they were set for everywhere in the world where there was an Amazonian. And one of them was Smallville, and I had to go and protect my family. And Wonder Woman flies into a rage, and her and Superman get into a fight. One of the most brutal superhero on superhero fights I have ever read, where they are literally just smacking the ever-loving fuck out of each other. And Wonder Woman is not holding back here at all. And it's this fight that causes the world to be destroyed, because it's so brutal and goes for so long, and they smash into cities and they destroy things and they burn places down. All of this is because Wonder Woman didn't accept Clark's excuse and basically is out to kill him. She doesn't care what happens to the world. This is just blind rage against Superman for leaving her and saving Smallville instead of Themyscira. They end up in the Fortress of Solitude, where she gets some kryptonite and basically just punches a hole right through Superman's chest, killing him instantly. There's no way he's coming back from that. She wakes up after kind of learning all this, and the Superman robot reveals that there is an intruder in the Fortress of Solitude. Happens to be D. Don't ask me how he gets there so quickly. It's a comic book thing. Who really gives a shit? And he takes out the lasso of truth. He whips it around Wonder Woman, and he starts to question her. Why did you leave us? Why are you helping us? Why do you love us? And she lets him know everything, all of her feelings about mankind, everything that she's kind of gone through, and everything that she kind of feels. Once she's done this, the robot gives the boy this special box and says, you know, this can basically help you, but you have to be willing to give it to her. There's a whole lot of weaponry in the Fortress of Solitude, which they take. She lays Superman to rest in this Kryptonian mausoleum, but before she leaves, she pulls out Superman's skull and spine to make a weapon. She literally ripped out Superman's skull and spine to make a Kryptonian flail. That is awesome. And that page as well, like the art is just absolutely phenomenal. Okay, we find out that Batman was called by the robot after she killed Clark. Batman takes some of her power, puts it in that box, and then takes Diana back to Wayne Manor, puts her in the stasis chamber, and sets it to begin kind of regenerating her body and her mind. And then, because of all the radiation, he basically just waits to die. Okay, we have Camp New Hope kind of getting ready as Diana on Pegasus and whatnot, preparing to leave. They spot more Hydra coming out of the ocean, the largest Hydra they have seen so far. And then it just becomes an all-out battle. Wonder Woman comes flying in on Pegasus and just starts killing everything with this fucking Superman spine flail thing, which is just one of the best things that I've seen in a long, long time. Everyone is part of this battle. It seems to be going kind of poorly. A lot of people are getting killed. Even the Kryptonian robots getting in on the action. And then we see Nubia coming in. She grabs the flail, smacks Wonder Woman off Pegasus, goes down for the kill, but doesn't manage to get it. At this point, we discover what's in the box. The Kryptonian Superman cyborg robot thing tells the kid, listen, it's your choice. Only a human can make the choice to give her back all of her power. That is your decision, which he does. He sees Nubia beating the crap out of Wonder Woman, rushes to her, and manages to give her her power. And she thanks him for it, and then goes on a rampage, finally confronting her mother, which they do battle, but ultimately she takes out Nubia. She's fighting her mother, but she lets her mother live, and her mother slinks back into the ocean where she came from. Diana buries not only the Hydra sisters, but also the Camp New Hope people that had fallen in battle, goes back to Themyscira with Cheetah. And we find out that the refugees are now here. They've woken up and D is okay. His sister is there with a couple of the others. And Wonder Woman talks to him about responsibility and whatnot, and then asks him if he is willing to help her rebuild this dead Earth. And that is the story of Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. Then we get a cover gallery, which is always great. Some sketches. Okay. Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. What did I think? Fucking brilliant. Absolutely magnificent. Great story, great art. A lot of unexpected twists. The whole Batcave thing was great. The fact that her and Superman caused the world to pretty much be annihilated with their fight. The fact that she punches him in the fucking chest with the kryptonite. I mean, there was a lot in there. The Amazonians being the Hydra creatures because of the radiation from the nuclear missiles. I mean, it was just a flat-out fantastic comic book story. So, not much more to say about that. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, blah, 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 blah. You know the fucking drill. We are so close to 500 subscribers. And as I've said in past videos, I'll say it again in this one. We hit 500. I am reviewing the most offensive book I own, and that probably has ever been written. And I do not say that lightly. Plaguelands Media also has a new Kickstarter coming up. I will link some information in the description below for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sure a lot of you out there are going to be interested in it. It is a horror story colouring in book with art by Ian Van Gammett, stories by Dr. Luke Carman that kind of have a Bernie Wrightson vibe to it. So please go and check that out. Make sure we get that off the ground. It's already done. The book is completed. So it's just once the Kickstarter's funded, everyone gets their shit. That's what you want. So I'm going to leave it there. Please have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe. But most importantly, please, please, please read a fucking book, people.